Video games are dying. Wow, what a grim thing to say. What a grim thing to hear. Especially for someone like me, as I hold a special place in my heart for video games. But the state of the matter is that it is true. And unfortunately, I don't know what can be done to stop this. But what I do know is why. Why this is happening? Why video games are dying? And that's what I will be talking about today. Before I get into this video though, I would like to start by explaining what it actually means for video games to die. This term has been floating around the internet for quite some time now, be it in the comments of a post, briefly spoken about by YouTubers, or maybe even an article about it. But if I put it simply, I say that what it means for video games to die is a decline in quality. Put simply, I quote. But how does that make any sense? If anything, video games have tremendously increased in quality over the years. I mean, have you seen these graphics? It's so realistic, and it plays as smooth as butter. That was not what I meant by decline in quality. What I meant was that video games of this generation somehow feels hollow. Long before I found out that video games were dying, it used to feel off for me when playing new games. Something was missing. This made me embark on a journey to find out what. I soon arrived at an answer, and after finding said answer, I then had to find out why. Asking this next question led me to a giant ocean of reasons as to why this is happening, but I managed to dive deeper and find out 4 core reasons why video games are dying. And these core reasons are high standards, executives, popularity, and depth of passion. And in the video here wouldn't exactly prove my points, and I would probably leave you more confused than enlightened. So I will be further explaining each reason. To start in a chronological order, the first reason is high standards. What do I mean by high standards? The endeavor of creating a video game has never been an easy task, but as time has gone by, the act of creating a game has skyrocketed. It takes years to make a single game, not to mention resources, money, and manpower and sleepless nights that goes into just one AAA title. Developers are pushed to their limits, and the cost of production may rise as a result of one variable or the other. To put it simply, creating a video game is a monumental task, and that is not about to change, now or in the near future. Everything I just said doesn't answer how high standards is killing video games. High standards means one thing. If games are becoming harder to make, that is, more expensive, then the risk for making games becomes colossal. So in order to combat their risk, developers will have to opt for what is guaranteed, what is safe. In turn, this will lead to repetition, doing what works over and over again. That's why we can barely differentiate games these days. Now tell me, how will video games not die if this continues? Would you be willing to play the same game over and over again? I don't know about you, but I wouldn't. If anyone shares my disposition, then that would be a sure way for video games to die. You can't make video games if no one is playing them. This is what is happening now. Sure, it's not as drastic as I make it out to be, but it is prevalent. Right now, people can't figure it out, but very soon, they will. When they do, video games will surely die if something isn't done about it. The second reason video games are dying is executives. Video game development has become a corporate endeavor. Profit must be made. Video game development have been helmed by people with money, greedy people with money, I might add. But I can't paint them black, because it wouldn't be fair. They have to make profits. We all have to make money. But what I can't paint them black for is how they go about this. When I explained high standards earlier, I mentioned repetition and recycling of video game mechanics. But what I will mention now is there are still developers out there that are trying. They want to make a difference. They want to make something different. They hunger to make a change, take a risk. But unfortunately, they don't make the final decisions. The guys with the money does, the executives, and they don't want to take a risk. So they will make it plain and simple that recycling should take place, and anyone who tries otherwise will lose their job. My next reason is popularity. If I'm being nice, popularity is a very bad thing. Why? For the past couple of years or decades, video games have shot up the popularity poll in such a way that saying it's climbed Mount Everest would be an understatement. I wish the reason for that was because people genuinely enjoy playing video games, but that would be a lie. The real reason for games becoming so popular is because gamers, the real gamers, loved games so much they would talk about it all the time. They would express the emotions and experiences they got from their video games, and this slowly began to spread throughout the world. Video games became a niche thing, to a global sensation, because word of mouth is incredibly powerful. But people picked up games because of the wrong reasons. They thought it was cool. Emphasis on the cool. People who knew nothing and or did not care for video games became the ones who made the most noise about it. And the result of this is they are the majority. And what happens when video game illiterates becomes the majority? Game developers have to cater to them instead of the real gamers. Remember my first two reasons, high standards and executives? These reasons compound when you add it to popularity. As the majority are illiterate, developers will have to make games that require the smallest brain capacity to play in order to cater to the illiterates, so as to ensure everyone will be able to play. Simple game mechanics lead to boring gameplay, and repetition so as to ensure people will be familiar and will not have to use their brains to learn something new and or difficult. Playing it safe, according to executives, games becoming popular seemed like a good thing, but in reality, it was death. I honestly really wished video games had stayed a niche thing, but it was out of our hands, and there was nothing to be done about it. This video has gone longer than I initially intended. All this talk about video games dying is very depressing, so I'll make my last point quick. Death of passion. This was inevitable. If aspiring game developers would be restricted from taking risks and making changes, then what else can they do? Nothing. They have to put food on the table, so they need their jobs. And even if their jobs have become something terrible over the years, they will have to bend to the wills of their masters and continue recycling over and over again so they become dead inside and start to not care anymore. Video games are incredible. No one can play them and say otherwise. Video games have been with me since I was very little. When I had nothing, it kept me going. I love video games, and seeing all this unfold before my eyes is disheartening. I wish all this could be averted. I wish somehow things could have been different. But unfortunately, it's how it is. But wait, there's still hope. There is still hope. Thank you for watching. Your time means the world to me. I know there are more better and qualified YouTubers out there that you could be watching right now, but instead you gave me your time. Thank you once again. This means so much to me. This is my first ever YouTube video, and I hope you liked it. If you did, consider subscribing and liking this video. Hopefully, I'll see you next time. Bye.